Welcome back to the deep dive. I was just thinking about how much time and money we spend on hair care, but I rarely stop to think about the marketing behind it all. You know what I mean? Today we're going to do exactly that, a deep dive into the psychology of hair care marketing.
Yeah, that's a great point. We often just take those marketing campaigns for granted, don't we? But there's a whole world of psychology at play designed to influence our choices.
Okay, so let's jump right in. Let's start with a brand everyone's talking about, Olaplex. They've kind of exploded in popularity, but I'm curious, did they always target the average consumer?
Actually, no. And that's a key part of their success. Olaplex started by focusing on salons and stylists, creating that sense of exclusivity and leveraging the whole recommended by professionals angle.
Ah, so it's not just about the product itself, it's about who's recommending it. Makes sense. We tend to trust experts, especially when it comes to something as personal as our hair.
Exactly. It plays into that deep-seated authority bias. We're more likely to trust a product if a stylist we admire swears by it. And then there's the whole bond-building technology talk.
Right, they've really pushed that scientific angle, making it sound like a revolutionary breakthrough. But did that approach always resonate with everyone, or were there any bumps along the way?
Well, some people saw it as just another marketing gimmick, especially at the beginning when Olaplex was primarily a salon treatment. But the strategy really took off when they launched their take-home products. That's when the average consumer could experience the Olaplex effect firsthand.
Oh, so they kind of built up this mystique in salons and then capitalized on it with a wider product line. Clever. It makes you wonder, though, did focusing on salons alienate any potential customers? Like people who couldn't afford salon treatments?
That's a good question. It is something Olaplex has had to navigate carefully. They've had to balance that air of exclusivity with the need to appeal to a broader market. One way they've done this is by offering a range of products at different price points.
Makes sense. So they're catering to both the luxury salon goer and the budget-conscious consumer. That's smart. It's like they're trying to cover all their bases.
Precisely. It's about creating multiple entry points for different segments of the market.
It's fascinating how much thought goes into these strategies. Okay, let's move on to another big name in hair care. Function of Beauty. They've gone all in on personalization, haven't they?
Absolutely. They've tapped into that growing desire for customized experiences. It's not just about buying a product off the shelf anymore. It's about creating something unique, tailored to your specific needs.
Yeah, and they take personalization to a whole new level. You fill out this detailed quiz about your hair type, your goals, even your scent preferences. It's like they're making you the co-creator of your own shampoo.
Exactly. And that's a brilliant move from a psychological perspective. It taps into something called the endowment effect. We value things more when we feel a sense of ownership or have been involved in their creation.
So, by letting me customize my shampoo, Function of Beauty is making me feel more invested in the product. It's not just some random bottle off the shelf, it's my unique formula.
Precisely. And that sense of ownership can lead to increased brand loyalty and repeat purchases. But Function of Beauty has also embraced another interesting tactic. They haven't shied away from controversy.
Oh yeah, I've seen those mixed reviews online. Some people rave about it, while others have had less than stellar experiences. How does that factor into their marketing strategy?
It's actually quite deliberate. By acknowledging and even highlighting both positive and negative reviews, Function of Beauty creates a sense of authenticity.
It's like they're saying, look, we're not perfect, but we're real, which can be refreshing in a world of overly polished marketing campaigns.
Exactly. And it also plays into that fear of missing out, that FOMO that we all experience to some degree. When we see others trying something new, especially if it's generating buzz, we don't want to be left out.
It's like that feeling of seeing a long line outside a new restaurant. You automatically assume it must be good because everyone else is trying it.
Precisely. Function of Beauty leverages that psychological tendency to their advantage.
So they're not just selling personalized shampoo, they're selling a sense of belonging and exclusivity, even if it's based on mixed reviews. That's fascinating.
It is. And it shows how these brands are becoming increasingly savvy about using psychology to their advantage.
Okay, so we've seen how Olaplex utilizes expert authority and how Function of Beauty plays on personalization and FOMO. What other psychological levers are these hair care brands pulling?
Well, let's talk about Yuzu, a brand that's built its entire image around the power of storytelling.
Oh, I love a good story. What's their angle?
Their founder, Negin Mirsalehi, comes from a family of beekeepers and hairdressers. And Gizu's marketing heavily leans on this secret family recipe narrative passed down through generations.
It's like a modern-day fairy tale, and we're all drawn to those captivating narratives. But I'm curious, is it just the story, or is there more to their strategy?
The story is definitely central, but it's also about the emotional connection they create. By weaving this narrative of family tradition and natural ingredients, Yuzu positions itself as more than just a hair care brand. It's a lifestyle, a philosophy.
And of course, they have the honey-infused products to back up the story.
Exactly. The products themselves become tangible extensions of that narrative. And that's what makes storytelling such a powerful marketing tool. It allows brands to connect with consumers on a deeper level, appealing to their emotions and aspirations.
It's not just about what the product does, it's about the feeling it evokes. And Jizu has certainly mastered that art, but they're not the only brand leveraging aspirational marketing, are they?
Not at all. Let's look at Monday Hair Care. They've taken a different approach, focusing on the illusion of luxury at an affordable price.
Oh yeah, their packaging is super chic. Those minimalist pink bottles really stand out on the shelves.
That's exactly the point. They understand that our perception of a product's quality is often influenced by its packaging and presentation.
So they're playing on the idea that if it looks expensive, it must be good.
Precisely. They've mastered the art of what we call aspirational pricing. They're making consumers feel like they're getting a high-end product at a fraction of the cost.
It's like that thrill of finding a designer dress on sale. You feel like you've outsmarted the system and got a great deal on something luxurious.
Exactly. And Monday Hair Care has expertly tapped into that psychological phenomenon.
Wow, this is already so insightful. It's amazing how these seemingly simple products have so much strategic thinking behind them.
It really highlights the power of marketing psychology.
We'll be back in a moment to explore even more of these fascinating tactics. Okay, so we've covered Olaplex, Function of Beauty, Jizu, and Monday Hair Care, each brand with their own clever approach to persuasion. But I'm starting to see some common threads here. It's like they're all tapping into our deepest desires and insecurities, especially when it comes to beauty standards.
Yeah, that's a keen observation. And it brings up a really crucial point about the hair care industry as a whole. While these brands might use different tactics, they're often selling an idealized, even unattainable version of beauty.
You're right. It's all about achieving that perfect hair, whether it's sleek and straight, bouncy and full, or effortlessly tousled. But those images we see in ads are often heavily edited and filtered, right?
Absolutely. And that creates a disconnect between what's real and what's being marketed as achievable. It can make us feel like we're constantly falling short, even when we're using the miracle products being sold to us.
It's like chasing a fantasy, and it's easy to get caught up in that cycle of comparison and self-doubt. It makes me wonder, is there a way to appreciate these marketing campaigns without falling into that trap?
I think the key is awareness. When you see a stunning hair ad, acknowledge that it's a carefully constructed image, not necessarily a reflection of reality. And remember, everyone's hair is different, and what works for one person might not work for another.
So it's about embracing our individuality and finding what makes us feel confident and beautiful, regardless of what the marketing world is telling us. And speaking of marketing tactics, didn't you mention something about instant gratification earlier?
Yes. Another recurring theme is the emphasis on quick fixes and dramatic transformations. Brands love to use language like transform, miracle, and instant results.
Oh, I'm definitely guilty of falling for that. We all want that magic product that will solve all our hair woes overnight.
But the reality is that true hair health takes time and consistent care. It's like those fad diets that promise rapid weight loss. They might work in the short term, but they're not sustainable or healthy in the long run.
So it's more about building a healthy hair care routine that works for you, rather than seeking a quick fix from a bottle.
Exactly. It's about setting realistic expectations and understanding that hair care is a journey, not a destination.
That's a great perspective shift. Okay, so we've talked about idealized beauty standards and the allure of instant gratification. What other big picture insights should we be aware of?
Well, let's tie this back to our earlier discussion about being informed consumers. It's crucial to do your research, read reviews, and understand the ingredients and technologies being touted in these products. Don't just take the marketing claims at face value.
So it's not about rejecting all marketing, it's about being a more discerning consumer.
Precisely. Knowledge is power, and the more we understand about these products and the psychology behind their marketing, the better equipped we are to make choices that align with our values and goals.
That makes sense. And it's not just about the individual products themselves, it's about understanding the broader context, right?
Exactly. You know, one thing that hasn't been explicitly mentioned, but it's woven throughout all these examples, is the powerful influence of social media.
Ah, yes. The world of influencers, beauty bloggers, and viral hair trends. It's hard to escape that constant stream of information telling us what we should be buying and how we should look.
It's more than just influencers. It's the entire ecosystem of online reviews, before and after photos, and social media discussions that shape our perception of beauty and our desire for certain products.
It's like this constant pressure to keep up with the latest trends, even if they're not necessarily what's best for us or our hair.
Exactly. And this shift towards digital marketing has made it even more crucial for consumers to be critical thinkers. We need to ask ourselves, are we genuinely interested in this product, or are we just being swayed by clever marketing and social pressure?
It's so easy to get swept up in the hype. But it's not all bad, right? There's still a lot of fun and creativity in the world of beauty and hair care.
Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with enjoying beauty trends and experimenting with new products. The key is to do so with awareness and intention.
So it's about finding that balance between enjoying the playful side of hair care and staying critical of the marketing machine.
Exactly. It's about being an informed and empowered consumer.
This has been such an eye-opening conversation. I'm already looking at those shampoo bottles with a whole new perspective.
That's fantastic. And remember, this critical thinking applies to so many areas of our lives, not just hair care.
You're right. It's about being mindful consumers in every aspect of our lives.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because that leads us perfectly into a final thought I wanted to share.
No, I'm intrigued. Let's hear it. Okay, I'm ready.
So, we've been dissecting the tactics of these big hair care brands, but there's a whole other layer to this that I think is worth exploring.
Oh, okay. I'm hooked. Tell me more.
Well, just think about all the subtle messages embedded in these marketing campaigns. It's not just about selling a product. It's about shaping our perceptions of beauty, success, and even happiness.
Yeah, you're right. It's like they're creating a whole worldview around these products, and we're buying into it without even realizing it.
Exactly. And this ties back to the idea of being mindful consumers.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be aware of the values and ideologies being promoted and ask ourselves if they align with our own.
So it's not just about choosing the right shampoo, it's about choosing the right message.
Precisely. And sometimes that might mean opting out of the mainstream altogether.
That's an interesting thought. So what are some alternatives? What does it look like to be a truly conscious consumer in the hair care world?
Well, it might mean supporting brands that prioritize sustainability and ethical sourcing.
Right. Looking beyond the flashy marketing and considering the environmental and social impact of our choices.
Exactly. It might also mean embracing a more minimalist approach to hair care, focusing on quality over quantity.
Yeah, that resonates with me. I've been trying to simplify my routine and focus on products with natural ingredients.
And sometimes it might even mean challenging conventional beauty standards altogether.
You mean like embracing our natural hair texture or going gray gracefully?
Exactly. It's about finding beauty in authenticity and rejecting the pressure to conform to a narrow ideal.
This has been such an empowering conversation. It's like you've given me a whole new toolkit for navigating the hair care aisle and beyond.
I'm so glad to hear that. Remember, the goal isn't to feel overwhelmed or paranoid about marketing tactics. It's about understanding the game and making choices that align with our values.
And sometimes that might mean putting down the perfectly branded bottle and choosing something that speaks to our authentic selves.
Beautifully said. It's about reclaiming our power as consumers and defining beauty on our own terms.
This has been a truly transformative deep dive. I feel like I've gained a whole new understanding of hair care marketing and even myself.
It's been a pleasure exploring these ideas with you.
And to our listeners, we hope you've enjoyed this journey into the psychology of hair care marketing. We've covered a lot of ground today, but the conversation doesn't end here.
We encourage you to continue exploring these themes in your own lives. Pay attention to the marketing messages you encounter, question the beauty standards that are presented to you, and most importantly, make choices that feel authentic to you.
And that is the essence of the deep dive, helping you become a more informed and discerning consumer.
Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep defining beauty on your own terms.
Thanks for joining us.